Expressive.
Fashion innovation.
Breakthrough.
Nostalgic. Nature and the planet as a main focus.
I've always liked fashion, always bought fashion books, magazines, like little stencils to draw. But then obviously growing up and obviously how I'm brought out from my background, I just did more towards academics, mainly obviously because of, you know, the pressure of you have to do something that people see as actually tangible, a tangible career. So I ended up obviously studying engineering initially. I wanted to be a design engineer because I still have a passion for cars and still have a passion for engineering and science. But I just realised I love fashion way more.
I think fashion got me kind of like outside. It helped me to get outside that box. Does that make sense? And I decided that, you know what, I want to make people able to get outside the box as well and like cater to people and like empower people through clothing.
I actually always loved fashion since I was a child. I was always drawing wedding dresses, watches, just things that would come up to mind and things that I would want to design. And like when I got older, because I'd always tell myself I always wanted to leave an impact in the world.
It was something that I was doing on my own, so I was sewing like on my own, and I felt like it was the one thing that I kept gravitating towards, and it wasn't like teachers recommending it or people pushing me towards it. I felt like I just wanted to be there.
So I was born and raised in Thailand, and as a child I was always drawn to beads and ball gown, and I love to make like beading bracelet and draw big dresses.
My final collection for my third year. That's what got me the Black Excellence Award. That was one of the first projects I actually went in with my heart. It was a response to like life events that was happening, and I just felt like I could only speak about it through art and through my work. So we were able to have a fashion show that was seen by loads and loads of people, and yeah, I think the whole process of going to university in that way, I really enjoyed. It was difficult, it was a long journey, but it was worth it at the end.
I had a bit of experience with crochet in college, then I kind of dropped it for a bit. And then when COVID happened, I was like, actually, maybe it's something I already had the equipment at home for one, and I already had like a few balls of yarn everywhere. So then I was like, okay, let me see if I could maybe look up some YouTube videos, see what happens, teach myself. And that's when that kind of developed. The dress is something that is gonna be like new, kind of like up and coming. And it was me trying to like experiment with kind of all the skills that I've built on in crochet and actually just try and start formulating like full garments. So from like this dress, I'm hoping to start like making like sets. So then I'm thinking of like how I can really develop my skills to bring a crochet project that actually is like a full brand.
Futurism, I'm very into like futuristic, or like, so to say Afrofuturism has influenced me a lot. Obviously it's quite more new to the scene as to say like Renaissance and obviously like stuff like postmodernism and things like that, but I really like it. So, but in terms of like my clothing style, I would say I'm more towards streetwear, but I don't box myself into that I just want to be a streetwear designer, because I'm so much more than that, as in I can touch into tailoring and just many other aspects.
Fashion communication is different because it's like the business aspect of fashion. It's very vague. You could be an editor, you could be a journalist, you could just be a photographer, you could be anything. It's not just design, where with design I think it's just making and drawing and pattern cutting and things like that. But I wanted to do more. Like I also love to write and I also love to do interviews. So like I wanted to move on to other aspects of fashion.
So during my MA, my final project was aiming to raise awareness on objectification and exploitation of Southeast Asian women, and I made a wearable art installation with the aim to help people that never have to experience racism and sexism to understand my experience and my pain. And the work consisted of 3 layers of oppressive power. The first layer is the leg of mutton, Victorian leg of mutton sleeves, and it acts as white supremacy and patriarchy. So it's like this thin veil sort of overpowering racialized bodies. And the second layer is called Trapped in the Red Light District Cage, and it was based on my research, Thai women being restricted, and the cage is sort of add onto the weight onto the shoulder. And then the final layer is the third layer, which is the dress, and it's called a gold digger dress. In fashion industry, they making money because the garment workers are exploited, and the majority of garments workers are black and brown people in developing countries.
I think people need to see representation, or people need to feel represented, because you're always used to seeing a certain standard of beauty or what fashion is. That's what people resonate it to, and I think that alienates other people.
When you asked me what my words to describe the industry, I said breakthrough, and I think I said it because like I'm seeing a lot of black designers and black artists and black creatives coming into the works, and I think that's really cool, because when I was younger, I didn't see those type of people, and I think that's also things that did influence my decision of not seeing fashion as a thing I could do. But like seeing all these people like Laura Roach, designer and stylist, like all these things, people that I never knew about until now. I think it's nice to see, and it's refreshing, and it just feels like we're finally getting into these spaces where other people can see their own representation, not just the black communities, but other type of communities too, as well.
As a 15 years old, I didn't understand the pain I was going through. It was, microaggression, casual racism, the feeling of othered. So then I starting to put myself into that world and wanting to create my own world.
I am very thankful of my friends and my partner, because they were really, really supportive. Like I think because they were able to see how my first year in biology was, and they could see like how it was really affecting me, it was easier for them to be like, okay, do what you want to do. But my mum, who is obviously at home and she was conservative, she didn't understand why I would want to leave biology that would push me further in a sense and go for fashion, where she thought it wasn't really something you could get further into. So her perception of fashion was just clothes and that was it. But it's like, it's so much more than that.
That's one of the things that are important to me, I think, because I just don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to find a way to be a part of, the solution and bringing up innovation. That's also that's why I also want to go back home and see how we can do things a bit more sustainably. We've got raw materials in my countries that we can use, like waste of different ways, maybe of agriculture, all of these things that we can reuse. We talk about pineapple skin and things like this more and more now. That's why I say I want to work for a few years, get my hands into the industry, and learn how the rules are so I can break them.
I wouldn't be able to afford loads of £100 outfits. I wouldn't expect other people to afford £100 outfits. It's more like, I feel like as a collective, we have to think about how we can diffuse things, and that even if you are making something cheaper, be realistic about how you're going to go about it. Is it that you're trying to use more recycled stuff that makes it cheaper, or is it that you're trying to make it that it's going to last a long time?
Buy into your narrative if you don't even like your narrative or anything like that. So I just battling through the whole mental barrier of feeling like you belong somewhere, or if you can actually do it or achieve it.
You kind of really had to focus on being really disciplined with your own time and managing how you work and managing what you think you can complete. Not just saying I'm going to do everything, but actually say, yeah, I can do maybe 3 things at once.
I believe that if you fit in a clothing, you can wear it anyhow you want. It's not, that's my belief anyway, clothing are meant for people.
There's need to be more collaboration, more the voice need to be heard, and people of color need to be given a seat at the table. Otherwise the change is just not genuine.
The whole experience is meeting all these other like personalities, like all these other designers who come in and they tell you the story of how like what they've been through and how they've processed through fashion, and coming to see where they came from and where they are now, and just listening to their story. I think it's so amazing. It's like, this could be what I could be in the future, and it's like, wow, I'm seeing your work and I'm learning about your work and you're right in front of me.